I'm Jared Pareira. I'm a developer at ConsenSys. I work on a project called Fathom, which is developing a protocol for forming the base layer of a decentralized education system and all sorts of social structures on top of that. I grew up in Nairobi, Kenya, where there's sort of a very easy to see juxtaposition between the expat community and the local community. And I was going through high school, and I could very easily see sort of these structural flaws that were shared between the local and sort of between the different points on the educational spectrum that were present there. And they were these very basic flaws that stemmed just from the institutional nature of the entire system, the fact that some people were part of these institutions and some people weren't, and the basic unit of education was an institution rather than any smaller, more meaningful unit, and sort of trying to come to terms with that problem and figure out why this was the case and how a better system could be devised and scaled was where I really got into what is now Fathom. This sounds like pretty trite in this space, in the blockchain space, but it's all about consensus around around credentials, right? A credential is only meaningful if, because you have it, other people recognize it. And so basically, currently that consensus resides in institutions, which gain the trust necessary to sort of make them work through institutional processes and all sorts of stuff right around that. But if you sort of pare it down to the smallest, most meaningful unit, really what we're just talking about is people coming to consensus on what a single skill or credential or idea is, what defines it. And so sort of codifying that consensus process and that almost the way a rule set is come to consensus upon, that was really, I think, the sort of core of it. If we can create that formal process by which a community around a credential can define it and come to consensus on who has it or what defines it, then that really is the most meaningful unit. Well, so right now, we're not really looking at, it isn't an immediate replacement, obviously. Because it's a more flexible system inherently, its immediate use case is systems where that flexibility, or contexts where that flexibility is extremely important. So people who exist or who are doing things that the current educational system can't really come to terms with or grasp, or people who exist on the fringes, or people who need a faster, more granular system of trust that can scale maybe extranationally or beyond the current academic confines. And so that's really where you start, right? You start by building this network on the fringes, and as more people use these credentials and as more people gain more reputation in them and around them, you can sort of build this secondary academic network that can then merge and have interactions with the current academic system. And it's important that I don't think schools go away. I don't think institutions go away. I think the assessment and the credentializing and the trust process just gets removed from them. And so you have this separate system that then you can build institutions on top of if you think those are the most efficient way to do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, it all sort of boils down to this base layer of decentralized credentials. Well, so first, because these are social processes, right? There's no one truth in a credential. There's different communities and different ideas and different ways to communicate those and different ways to earn those. And so fundamentally, there's no one central source of truth from the start. It's a decentralized process where everyone who's interacting in the system forms their own truth. They form their own, this is what this credential means to me, this is what this idea means to me, this is what I view as valid. And so what we really want to do is take those individuals and build them into a larger system. And while building, what I mean by build them into a larger system is sort of put them in such a way that they can interact with others to have that flexibility and individuality, but still come to consensus and form a community. And so decentralization is important because it lets all of those individuals follow their own path, but still build the consensus systems and the groups. So the goal is really that any individual in the world can sort of build their own, can essentially learn however they want. They can build their own academic systems and academic journeys, and they can just build their own experiences, but still be safe in the guarantee that there is a system that allows them to communicate that experience through credentials to anyone else in the world, right? So that you can learn, your parents can put you in whatever learning situation you want, you can pick whatever learning situation you want, you can, learn either from books at home, in a school, in the trees, whatever, and at the end of the day, you can still take that experience and communicate it to someone in an entirely different context. And what that enables then is you can work with that person, you can learn with that person, you can build systems with those people. And so really we're expanding by allowing that broad communication of experience. Number one, you're enabling more interactions, right? The more people you communicate to, the more interactions are possible. But number two, by capturing a larger segment, like by capturing all these different experiences in one system, you're really enabling all those different experiences to flourish. And so because people are more capable or more able to learn in the ways that make sense to them and to do in the ways that make sense to them, they'll be able to learn more and do more, and we'll have more capable citizens or people, and more capable people forming the basis of a society that can move and be bigger and faster than the society we have today. Blockchain really enables that social process to be scalable, right? So if you're talking about a small, tight-knit community, you could do something that looks a lot like Fathom today. You could have a decentralized system for coming to consensus around topics. But if you want to take that system and scale it up to 7 billion or any large number of people who all have competing interests, who are potentially, who are in a adversarial environment by nature of their removal from each other, then you need a system of a blockchain system, a system that allows those people to trust that the interactions are going to go the way that they are said they're going to go, right? It's about taking that social process and scaling it. Yeah, so I wound up in Dubai just because my family's here and I kind of needed a place to be. And then it turned out that there's a ton of stuff going on around here, both with blockchain and with ConsenSys in general. So I sort of split my time between working on the bigger picture Fathom, just like generalized stuff, and on things that are coming up in Dubai in general. And yeah, some of those are education related, some of those are just blockchain related. There's a lot going on. It's a crazy place.
What is going on in Dubai?
So the big thing is, actually I don't want to talk about this because I don't like it. I don't like it at all, like this project.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's sweet.